podcast.
You listen to Kendrick and Matt on the Slip and Dip podcast.
Oh, beautiful, man. What is up, people? Welcome back to the Slip and Dip podcast, episode number 99. One away from 100. About to hit that century mark. Thanks for joining us, guys. I am Matthew Wells. Alongside me, as always, is Kendrick Johnson. Big combat sports fight weekend. We got a lot to recap, but we're going to make it quick because we got a hell of a show for you guys on the docket today. One, Mr. Teofimo Lopez, a rising star in this game. Oh my goodness, if you've not seen this man fight, what are you doing with your life? Hakeem Dawodu, UFC featherweight, rising up the ranks as well. Man, it's a hell of a show. And of course, Mr. Vergil Ortiz Jr., another guy. If you don't know who this is, get familiar right now. You need to know these names, who we have on the show today.
Future champs.
Future champs, prospects, whatever you want to call them. They're all damn good fighters. They're all exciting fighters. Kendrick, man, where do you want to start? Because there's a lot of cover between UFC, Bellator had a hell of a card, Jarrett Hurd, friend of the show, he was in the ring as well. Let's start there. Let's start there with the Jarrett Hurd Williams fight.
We like Jarrett on a personal level. Great guy, but he fought a terrible fight and he took that cold L. But that's what makes the sport boxing what it is. Props to Julian J. Rock Williams. He came to this man's town and did his damn thing and got them straps. It was a clear-cut, unanimous decision for the B side, which, as Eddie Hearn likes to point out, you rarely see.
Yeah.
Pop shout out to my man Eddie.
It's true, man. It's true. It's tough. Obviously, I was trying to watch all three cards at the same time, and all three were going on.
Are you crazy? I
had this fight on in the corner, in the corner on the TV there.
I watched them delayed. I got sucked into it.
Yeah, from what I was seeing, it was a damn good back and forth fight. I mean, obviously, I wasn't watching it close enough to score it. But I was like, man, this is a good fight over here. But it's just so much going on,
They fought in the pocket, in the phone booth. They weren't in the pocket. They were in the phone booth, like all night. But J-Rock came into a hot start. Everybody knows Jarrett Hurd starts off slow. He paid the price last night. In fact, he got put on his ass for the first time. Caught him with a beautiful uppercut, and it stunned Jarrett. And he threw his equilibrium off because he caught him on the temple, and he went down.
Hey, brutal, man, brutal. Good fight. I mean, hey, you go out there and get the job done. More props to you. Anything else about that fight? What's next for Jarrett Hurd?
They might have a rematch. He's in a precarious situation. I think him and Charlo, the winner of the last night
was the fight they wanted to make if he won, right?
Was Jermell Charlo.
Yes.
That he because whoever wins out of him and Tony Harrison, we should get that title shot. I mean Jermall. I get them mixed up.
Right.
It's Jermall Charlo.
Everybody does.
Jermall Charlo and Tony Harrison. Tony Harrison did the same thing, except it wasn't in Houston. It wasn't in his backyard, but he came and got the dub. Boxing is hot. When y'all people say boxing is dead, watch the damn fights.
Boxing is very hot right now. Like I said, we got two boxers on the show right now.
And that rematch is coming up too. They just signed a deal. They're literally fighting a week before his brother. They're fighting June 23rd in Mandalay Bay in good old Las Vegas to see who's the best in that weight class, and that they could end up fighting J-Rock for the unification. The crazy thing is Charlo has knocked out J-Rock.
Okay. All right. A lot to pay attention to. So, like I said, we're going to keep it kind of quick for this intro. So let's hop over to the Bellator world. Bellator 221 was a thing that went down. Man, Lima versus MVP. Oh my gosh, this knockout that you see right now on the screen, if you're watching on YouTube, was something violent. MVP doing MVP things, getting a little wild, little too crazy, and he caught that smooth uppercut with everything behind it.
But the kick, people are not talking about the kick that got him in that position, and he just take full.
Oh yeah, the kick was a clean.
The sweep sets it up. Like it was a beautiful hook, no doubt. But the sweep sets it up.
Beautiful. It was beautiful stuff, man. It was beautiful stuff. Fantastic work by Lima to get him out of there, and that was one of the most anticipated fights of the weekend for me because I wanted to see how MVP was going to rebound off that Paul Daly fight. So good on him. Go out there and. Well, I mean, not good on MVP, but good on Lima to go out there and I guess kind of keep the hype train derailed for a little bit longer. We'll see how MVP rebounds off of this. He can still do a lot of damage to a lot of people. And then in the main event, they had Patricio Pitbull against Michael Chandler. And we'll see if I can get the replay of that knockout here. Caught him with a smooth one. Over the with the right hand there. Dropped him. Some people were questioning the stoppage, but as you can see right here, there's 4 punches where Chandler's not responding. And then I guess it looks like that 5th one wakes him back up and he starts moving again. But the ref has already made the decision to call it off.
I didn't watch Bellator last night, but that looks almost like a replay of the TJ Dillashaw and fight.
Yeah. Similar to that.
What's his name?
Cejudo. Similar to that.
And they got the same energy guy. Captain must know what the hell he doing. This dude producing champs left and right. Pops to that man.
Right.
You can only get lucky so many times. I hate when people are like, well, he just got lucky. How can you get all these belts and get lucky?
Yeah, no doubt. It's fantastic performance. Chandler was a little bit upset at the stoppage, as a lot of people were, but hey, if you get dropped like that and then you don't move after a few punches, what's the ref supposed to do? The ref is there to protect you, so you got to call it off at that point. It was a good card for Bellator, man. Jake Hager had a moment. I won't even get into it, but Jake Hager, Mr. We the People, beat the internet sensation TJ Jones and held on to a choke too long, and it was just all a mess after that. Saying I'm rock hard with emotions. I'm done with that. All right, UFC had a card as well. UFC 237, Andrade Namajunas.
We saw the co-man, pops up, man, friend of the show, Killer Gorilla. He told y'all 3 weeks ago, he was gonna get that dub. Went in there, was beating Anderson Silva. That's what happens when you're 43, and he did what he had to do. Got him out of there with a beautiful kick behind the knee, blew his ACL out, and he wasn't trying to do that, but he clearly was gonna get that win. You could tell. He was a younger, better fighter.
He did exactly what he had to do. He was being patient. As one is supposed to do against Anderson Silva, who is trying to bait you in. He's trying to get you to do something to throw you off your game. And Jerry Cannonier, just stay calm, stay patient. Like he told us on the interview in the show, he's like, I don't see Anderson as some dude with some
He's another
aura.
man.
He's another man. He's flesh and blood, just like me. And that's how he treated the fight. That's how he treated the fight. And anybody that was saying, it was unfortunate that the fight ended this way, it was a Chris Weidman part 2 because that's what happens when you're 43 years old. No, it's not even that. The Chris Weidman thing was a freak accident.
That was free accident. That last night was not free accident.
But it was still perfect technique by Chris Weidman.
Oh, yeah, he did check that kick.
This, again, perfect technique, beautiful inside leg kick right to the knee joint, and unfortunately, I guess for Anderson, he couldn't continue anymore. But hey, that's no different than a knockout to the head, if you ask me. And people used to geek out over TKOs by leg kicks. Like when Pat Barry used to go out there and just destroy dudes' legs, people used to geek out over that. But all of a sudden, it's Anderson Silva, and hey, I get it. You see the painting behind me. I get it. Anderson Silva is a hero to a lot of people. It kind of sucks to see him go out like that. And unfortunately, I'm sure, this won't be the last time we see him make a walk to the octagon either. But it is what it is. Main event. Main event was another cause for controversy between Namajunas and...
I don't see the controversy.
I don't either.
This is combat sports. That's part of the game. Rose was definitely doing what she did. She looked damn good with the 1-2, had a great jab, stayed behind it, but that's why it's a 25-minute fight, and you had to have your head on the swivel for 25 minutes. Not 8, not 24, not in this case, I guess 7.
Right.
Or 9.
So here's the thing. A lot of people are upset that at the slam itself, Slamdrade, I saw that get coined. That's a hell of a little nickname, Slamdrade. I'm with that. But to go out there and slam her like that, listen, one, this was Rose's fault for hanging on to the Kimura. When I was training, one of the first things they tell you, if your opponent lifts you off the ground and they're appearing to want to slam you, whatever you may be holding on to, it's time to let go and get ready to brace yourself. Then that's Rose did it the first time earlier in the first round. She held on to it, almost got it. She held on to 2 slams, actually.
Yeah.
And that was impressive.
It's weird. I think that gave her fake confidence.
Exactly. So she thought she
could
do it
But that technique, though, that was not a fluke thing.
No.
Her technique was very perfect.
Yeah, for sure. But again, at the end of the day, if she doesn't hold on to that Kimura, she doesn't get dropped on her head like that. It was a scary-looking slam. I get it. But listen, people.
She knew she was signing up for.
We're not gonna start banning this stuff just because. I mean, I get it. Look, I don't want to see anybody get severely hurt, and Rose didn't get hurt here. Yeah, it could have caused some other pain, but hey, there's a lot of things in MMA that can cause a lot of damage, a lot of permanent damage. We see it all the time. Michael Bisping had a permanent eye thing that he finally got fixed when he was done with his career. A lot of things can cause permanent damage inside the octagon. Just because it happens to your favorite fighter or somebody you know and love, whatever, doesn't mean we need to start banning certain techniques when it happens to them. So just know that everything is dangerous inside this cage. Everything. Like, a person can take a wrong punch and it could be a career-ending thing. So there's nothing safe. You can't start banning things to make MMA safe. That doesn't exist. There's no safe MMA, if you understand what I'm saying. So, it is what it is. It was a fun weekend, man, for combat sports. I watched all of the cards. All of the Bellator card. I watched all the UFC cards.
I watched UFC live, and I watched
for the first time in a month. I got to watch a whole card live.
I watched UFC live, but I watched J-Rock and Jared on tape delay.
Yeah,
and I don't do Bellator. I think I've maybe watched one Bellator card in my life, and I'm doing okay.
Yeah, no, man, it is what it is. It is a good fun card. Jose Aldo got beat by Alexander Volkanovski as well.
Young man's game. I keep saying the theme of the show. One of the themes. The young man usually is gonna get the decision.
By the
time
2-year age gap here. I don't think that is the case.
We're talking about Harlem Wars though. That 33 is like almost
I think the
a 40.
better man just won. I don't think this was the age thing. I don't think this one was the age thing. I think the better man on the night won. And one of the other themes of the night as well that kind of flew under the radar. Oh, shout out to Ryan Spann. Went out there and got a beautiful finish over.
And somebody else, Father Tom tapping on that shoder, Mr. Nogueira.
That one, yes, I agree.
Join your brother.
I agree with that.
It's over.
Fortis MMA.
Over. OVA. Over.
Fortis MMA getting a big win out there in Brazil. So shout out to the team over there holding it down in the heart of Dallas. Coach Safe and all the guys. Ryan Spann getting it done. BJ Penn, please stop fighting.
Over. OVA.
Please stop fighting, BJ Penn. Please. That's my last note on UFC. Please stop fighting BJ Penn. Yeah. Anything else you want to touch on before we get into these wonderful interviews that we just got?
We'll be flying out in like less than 48 hours to see the Wilder burial of one Dominic Brazil. It should be out. I don't know if you see the preview because Dominic's Brazil's nickname. Here Comes Trouble. And then Deontay on the little countdown show. Oh, he gonna be in trouble.
Here comes something. Yeah.
He said he gonna be in trouble.
Yeah.
To this day,
yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
So I'll be there at Barclays. Take it in fight week and all that good stuff, and then we'll trying to work on some stuff behind the show. Have some legends for episode 100. Have some big names in just the sports world in general. We're trying to go all out. Yeah. Appreciate y'all for helping us get to this point. Please tell people to keep subscribing. We're going to keep the fire. We're hitting you with the MMA podcast and boxing podcast all in one weekly. Please tell me a non-national ESPN Bleacher Report podcast that you can find Daniel Cormier. You can find Deontay Wilder. You can find Michelle Corradi-Hadi. You can find Teofimo Lopez. We got them on here on a weekly. It's not a fluke. Check our library. Speak for itself.
And to add to that, hosted by two men rich in pigment as well. So you can add that little tidbit as well. It's a very rare thing we're doing. Actually, I think we're the only guys doing it. So, yeah, we're low-key, like I said, one of the baddest podcasts out there. If you have not hit that subscribe button, please do so. You'll also notice a new graphic as well. We got the Venmo. Hit the Venmo link in the description of this video. If you want to show your support for this show, for this podcast, for all the work that we put into it, getting all these guests week in and week out, show some love. Shoot us a little donation. Previous episodes we said we're not asking for money yet. Well, guess what? We're asking for money now. It's almost episode 100. It's time to start cashing out.
We gave you 99 reasons to get to like us.
Exactly. Get on board. Show some love. We got some more things as well in the works, like Kendrick said. So, hey, show some love. Hit that link in the description and show some support for the show. Please, if you're listening on iTunes, hit that subscribe button. Leave us a review. 5 stars. Help the visibility out as well on that side, on the audio side. Thank you guys for everything. Like I said, like Kendrick said, man, I'm really excited to be able to celebrate 100 episodes of this show. This has been a fun ride. It's been fun, chatting with you guys about the show, all the media guys that we talked to about the show behind the scenes as well. We appreciate all the support you guys show us. We appreciate all the retweets, everything, all the comments. Just keep them coming. So we'll keep on coming with the show and bringing you good stuff. So until 2 weeks from now, episode 100 will be coming at you. For now, enjoy these interviews with Vergil Ortiz, Hakeem Dawodu, and Teofimo Lopez
Jr.
Boom. Till episode 100. Peace.
Please welcome to the Slip and Dip podcast, fresh off his demolition of Mr. Mario Herrera. Demolished this man on the Canelo Jacobs undercard. He's an up-and-coming 140-pounder. He can catch you at welterweight too, Mr. Vergil Ortiz Jr. How you still on that high, man? Because you told us on fight week you weren't just going to win, but you were going to win in spectacular fashion. That's exactly what you did.
Yeah. Am I still on the high? No, not really. I try to keep myself grounded. I don't let it get to my head. And as far as knowing that I was gonna look spectacular, I was going in thinking, man, this is gonna be a tough fight. I go into every fight like that, so I'm forced to do good. It's kind of mental.
How's your profile raised in the last week?
Dude, I gained about, my followers went up about 80%. I'm at 34,000 right now followers.
Man, that's
crazy.
That's a huge growth, man. I mean, I guess you get on that big stage, being on the zone, with the Canelo card being a huge part of it, and then to go out there and land that laser of a right hand, man. How did that whole moment feel, like being in front of that big crowd, knowing you got a whole lot of support out there for Canelo and a whole lot of people that are wanting to see you do what you did?
Man, it was crazy, but honestly, I didn't understand like the magnitude of it, until like a day after it, and it was just crazy, and I'm blessed to have that opportunity.
That's amazing, man.
Do you think this catapult you into a title shot at like welterweight? Because like none of these guys have held their belt other than I think I want to say the guy from Belarus. No, not even him. The Ramirez guy has held the belt for only a year. Everybody's held the belt a year under. So these are fresh new champions. So are you ready to mix up with any one of them in particular?
Oh yeah. I'll take on anybody. I won't fight Jose Ramirez though. We're from the same gym. That can't happen. But other than that, yeah. But other than that, I'll take on any of the world champions at 140. I really will.
Fight week, a rumor. This is before your spectacular knockout that they were trying to get you hooked up with another Dallas site, Mr. Maurice Hooker, and have y'all fight at the Star in the very near future. How big a deal would that be for you, being from Dallas and knowing what the Cowboys mean to this area and the nation, to be on that big stage like that?
Man, that would mean a lot. It's for a first world title shot. We're both from Dallas. That being a huge crowd in. I've grown up watching Maurice Hooker in the Golden Gloves. I've seen him fight many times, and now I'm sure he knows who I am now with my career at 140. And you know what? If they make that fight happen, which it'll be really easy, by the way, because we're both with the zone. That'd be awesome.
What is your mentality when you get in the ring? Because not only you just got great skills, but you're a finisher, and that night to me makes you on that special level. Because there's a lot of good fighters, but there's very few finishers in today's boxing. And like once you got that dude hurt, because got him hurt he barely got out the first round, and then once he got the first round, you like, this is over. Like when you got off that stool for the second round, did you know he wasn't gonna get out that round?
Man. I just I could tell there was something off about him. I was just like, after that first knockdown, I could see that he still wasn't there. And as the third round started, I was doing little feints, and he wasn't reacting like he was in the earlier round. So I was like, you know what, this is it.
That's awesome. So do you feel like you still got so much like to your game that you haven't really been tested? I mean, you've got 13 walks to the ring, 13 finishes. It seems like you haven't really been tested from what I've seen. So, I mean, how do you feel about being like tested inside the ring? Or I guess even better question, like what would you consider like the fight that you've learned the most from so far?
The fight that I've learned the most from would be my fifth fight. That was the first time I went past the first round, and I had that mentality that I was gonna knock everybody out in the first round, and I actually punched myself out in the first round, and I was just like, wow. And the second round, I used that whole round to recover, and I knocked him out in the third round. But I learned a lot from that fight. If out of all of my fights, even and I mean, I grew as a fighter from that fight on.
That's dope.
How big a deal is to let everybody know that besides being a great fighter, that you're ready for that stage? Because some people are ready for that. Like you under the big lights in Vegas, co-main event with Canelo, and you just like deliver like, hey, I'm supposed to be here. If I didn't know nothing about boxing, I would think like, man, this guy been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've been doing this all my life. I've been training all my life for this. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I feel like that I've earned my spot, and pretty soon people are gonna see that just because I have 13 fights. It doesn't mean anything. Austin De La Hoya and all the greats. They got their world champion, the world titles at 14, 15 fights. There's a reason why that they're the best, and people, they're legends. And I want to be just like them.
With you being a Mexican American, how big a deal is to be that crossover star? Because Canelo's not even a crossover star because people in America don't know him. Are you going to try to take advantage of that platform, a la like De La Hoya, and try to capture the Latino market and being from Texas, the Texas market, and come back and forth? And also, too, do you plan on fighting here? Because I know before Canelo blew up into being Canelo, he fought here once a year, and he would fight once in Vegas. Do you think you could do something like that, or the Zone and Golden Boy got other plans for you?
I hope to fight here soon. There's not a whole lot that I can talk about my future, just because it's that's my piano, my bad. I was playing the piano earlier, right before y'all called me. But I just I really do hope that I can fight here again. It's been a while, like a year or two. But I mean, what was the first question you asked me? I kind of forgot.
About fighting here once a year, and do you feel like?
Oh, you were talking about like being
like Canelo, that crossover
the
star.
Latino. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, that's definitely the plan. Mexicans are like one of the biggest fans of boxing. I don't know a whole lot of Spanish. I was actually looking into doing some Spanish classes right now.
Oh, so you Canelo the opposite way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I do know Spanish. I gotta work on it. I gotta understand it a little bit more. Be more comfortable around it, and But that's the plan.
You got some family members to tutor you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How important do you think that is, though? Because I mean, like you said, like having that big fan base, the big Latino fan base. How big of it is a thing for you to be able to communicate with them like in the Spanish language and not just have to work through translators all the time?
Oh, dude. Oh, okay, here's an example. Like, okay, so Mauricio Herrera came out to some kind of hip hop song, and the arena was dead. When my Mexican song came on, the whole arena just erupted. It really makes a difference. And if I can connect with them, if I was speaking Spanish during my interview and said some stuff, to hype up the crowd, they would have went wild. Sadly, I couldn't do that. I didn't want to mess up in front of the whole audience, But pretty soon I'll get comfortable around it, and it'll boost up my status a little bit.
Yeah, so it's not just enough just to wear the colors. Like you got to have the whole package.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
That's cool.
You're definitely a motivated fighter in person. What's already got you on the track to stardom. But how much is being around Canelo and seeing what he does on that level inspire you to be that next guy on that level? Because that's a whole nother level, the whole Canelo level.
Yeah. Oh man, he's on a whole league of his own. He has the best resume in boxing right now, in my opinion. And being around him, I could just. There's not too many times that I'm around him, and that's because. He's special. He has his own times, his own everything. And when I'm around him, I'm just like, wow, I can't. First of all, I can't even talk to him. But I feel like if I could talk to him, I just wouldn't know what to say. He's just not starstruck, but just like, that presence.
So he's definitely one of somebody you look up to in the boxing game.
Definitely.
So he's got that. He's really got that aura. It seems like he's got that aura around him. Like, I mean, just from the presentation of watching the whole thing, here at home, and like hearing some behind the scenes stories from some of the other reporters and stuff. It seems like he truly does like embrace the moment and like owns it. Like, because he's been there against, like, he's been in the big fights against the Floyd Mayweathers of the world. So it's like,
yeah.
So like you felt that when you were there.
Yeah, exactly. He's done it so many times. It's just like he's perfected it, and he's like a good example to follow.
That's cool. So did he? I mean, obviously, like you said, you didn't get to talk to him as much, but what would be like the biggest thing like that you, I guess, could take away from that whole experience of being around him during a fight week and sharing that card with him?
I didn't see him a whole lot, to be honest. I saw him before his fight, which was after my fight. Like, I went to give him a shirt, and he told me, "Oh, congratulations! You had a great fight." And I was just like, "Man, that means a lot." But what I could learn from him, I mean, leading up to the whole Jacobs fight, they weren't trash talking and they weren't trying to build the fight. For me, that's how boxing should be. He's setting a great example. We're not just like killing machines in there, where we're humans and all that stuff. But what he also taught me is that, hey, if they started butting heads in the weigh-in, and hey, you got to defend yourself. Sometimes you can't back down from nothing. That we're not raised like that. So it works both ways. You can play both parts.
Gotcha. So has anybody like come at you sideways like that, or tried to bring that hostility towards you, and you just kind of had to like brush it off? Has that happened to you yet?
I mean, just growing up, growing up a boxer, everyone's like, man, you can't fight. You're not a boxer. That don't mean nothing. I mean, other than that, I don't get that a whole lot anymore. I sometimes I'll read something on the internet and I'm like, nah, it's funny. But I won't give them the time of day. I don't satisfy anyone, We
all know the line that is boxing politics, the Golden Boy, PBC, Top Rank, and Matchroom, all that craziness. But do you watch like the Crawfords and the Spencers thinking like maybe one of these days, since you're 21 and they're mid to late 20s, well, they're late 20s and 30s, do you think you can catch one of them before they get up out of here?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think by the time I'm like 23, 24, I'll be fighting everybody. I don't care who it is. I'll fight everybody.
I know you want to be a world champion. Is it a big deal about getting belts, or do you want to go for the biggest fights? As far as I
want to go for the biggest fights. Because, there's a lot of world champs out there. I've said this many times. There's a lot of world champions. You don't even know who they are. Same thing with the undefeated streaks. There's a lot of people undefeated. They're just picking their fights. A lot of prospects. They're still taking the easy route. I had 12 fights before I fought Mauricio Herrera. I want to fight the best. I want to prove to people that I'm here, and I'm gonna take over.
Coach, we're in the middle of your kind of coming out party year 2019. How big a deal would it be to be the prospect of the year from these big publications like Yahoo and ESPN if you would get named at the end of the year 2019 boxing prospect of the year?
It would mean a lot. Some people already consider me a contender already. Possibly going for. Thank you. It would, but as I said, it would mean a lot. I would have liked it like this last year, the year before, but when I definitely was still a prospect. But you know what? If they give it to me this year, better late than never. I'll still appreciate it.
So being like in the or from the Dallas area, like have you there's a lot of like the combat sports world's rising up. MMA in particular, like we've got Fortis MMA putting their name on the map in a huge way. Like, have you spent time like I guess like cross training with some of the MMA guys, or have you done any of that kind of work? I've
sparred some MMA fighters. I've sparred Cub Swanson, and I sparred TJ Dillashaw before. They just had that different kind of like tempo, like rhythm, and it helps. it helps because they're awkward, and sometimes you're gonna fight an awkward fighter, and it helps.
I got to follow up with that. How good was TJ? Because we've seen TJ get in there with Lomachenko, do some sparring work with him. So like, how would you rate his skills as a pure boxer?
As a pure boxer, he's actually really good. I would say like an 8.5. He do really well in boxing.
Dang, that's high praise right there. That's high praise.
Yeah.
What'd you spar him at? Did you spar here in Texas or was it at California?
This was when I was still training with Ortiz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. What about Cub?
Cub's a good fighter. He really is. You know what? It took me maybe like a good 4 or 5 sparrings to actually like figure him out. He's actually really good.
That's high praise right there. Two. I mean, obviously TJ got a lot of controversy going on right now, but I remember that being like a huge thing. Like, oh, he's getting in there with Lomachenko because he's kind of, I guess, in a way, kind of like the Lomachenko in MMA because he was doing a lot of unorthodox stuff, and he was pretty much being untouchable there for a minute. But
he was doing MMA type stuff with his footwork.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's cool. That's cool to hear him. Like, wow, like give him that 8. That's high praise, man. So that's cool.
And it's not low at all. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say someone's a 10, but I'm not gonna say he was a 2. Yeah, I'm giving an honest rate. He's actually really good.
Okay, I'm with it. I like it.
How many times would you like if you could pick your way? How many times would you like to be back in the squared circle this year in 2019?
I'd say I got 2 more fights in me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, realistically, if I get like an early knockout and they want to put me in like maybe a month later, then possibly even 3.
Like for instance, because I know you got hit a couple times, but how quick could you, like for instance, could you fight in less than a month after your last fight from last week?
I can. It's just the thing is, this camp, I actually trained for 3 months and I just needed a little bit of rest.
Gotcha.
But usually I only train for about 2 months, a month and a half, and after a fight, let's say I stop from 2nd, 3rd round or something, and I don't get like hurt or anything, then I'll fight in less than a month. If weight's not a problem, and if I know I'm fighting less than a month, I'll just keep my weight low. I won't blow up or anything. Then it'll be easy.
Do you see yourself going back to welterweight permanently? So that's what seem to be the money fights at, like in the next 2-3 years when you about 23, 24?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll be welterweight after this year for sure.
Okay, so you want to get one of those straps at 140 and then go and make that move up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. So, I mean, kind of like what you were saying there a second ago, like you go in there, you get these quick finishes, like after having like these 3-month training camps. Is there a little bit of are you happy with you're able to go in there and get your work done that quickly, or is it like, man, I put in a lot of work and I didn't get much time to work on my skills like when it actually counts?
You know what? I think it's because I put in all that work. The fight ended that fast, so I think it's worth it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't imagine like a lot of fighters would be like, man, I wish I would have got hit more or something. But it's like I would kind of think like you would want to get maybe a little bit more ring time instead of get everybody out there so quick. But
yeah,
you're excusing Vergil. He thinks getting hit is cool.
No, I don't. No, I don't. Hell no, I don't.
Well, are we gonna see you be more vocal, just about title shots and putting Dallas on the map? You know how everybody knows Earl Spencer from Dallas. Are you gonna be the Latino version soon? Because I know you kind of like coming into your own. Are you just gonna be a company guy? Hey, I get what Golden Boy gives me. Are we gonna see more of your personality when you have opportunities coming up?
I believe that is my personality. You'll never see me calling out anybody. Like, I'll say, you know what, it will be a good fight, but I won't be like, hey man, I want you. I want it right now. I'm not gonna go in someone's face. I was never like that. I'm a quiet guy. I'm not. I wasn't raised like that. I'm not like super aggressive like that. I mean, unless I need to be, which is in the ring where all that comes out. But I mean, that's just how I am. I'm not doing this. I'm not acting nice. I'm not acting. This is who I am.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of good. Like, at least on the boxing side of things, like, we always talk about on the MMA side of things, like the pay pay scale is like real low for MMA fighters across the board. But I guess in boxing, being with the Zone, Golden Boy, like you guys are paid pretty well comparatively to MMA, and it's like you don't necessarily always have to have like that showmanship side of things. Like people, I think, appreciate the actual skills more in boxing. You know, and that doesn't necessarily have to always reflect, because like if you go out there just blasting dudes like you did this last, like Herrera, it's like, man, people are gonna pay attention. They're gonna tune in next time. They're gonna buy that pay-per-view if it's on pay-per-view. They're gonna, you know, subscribe to the Zone. They're not looking for, oh, he said what about so and so, you know. So
yeah.
I think in boxing, like the skills actually carry you a lot further versus like an
MMA. That's how I feel like. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man. So that's good, and I think being on a good platform with you know, with the Zone and Golden Boy, guys that will truly support you. Like I really like Kendrick's interview with Eddie Hearn that he got last week, man. Like I became a fan of Eddie Hearn. I'm like, oh man, this dude, like he seems like he knows what he's doing. And of course, I've always been a fan of Oscar, so it's like that seems like a perfect platform. Like, how have those guys given you like any advice about like your career that's kind of really like stuck with you at this point? And like, do you feel like you're in the right hands with these guys?
I definitely feel like I'm in the right hands. I feel like I have the best combination. I feel like I have the best promoter. They have the cash cow of the sport, who's also a great fighter. And they have the best platform right now. They're making a breakthrough with this subscription whole boxing thing or whatever. Eddie Hearn's not my promoter, so he's never actually talked to me before. Also though, he's definitely given me advice before, and you know what, he believes that I'll be a world champion in less than a year from now.
How much confidence? It's not that you lacking confidence, but you got one of the best to ever do it, one of the Mexican legends of the sport, telling you, hey, you're the next one to take this torch.
Man, it means a lot. It's motivating. Some people might even think that's a little bit of pressure, but you know what, it's nothing I'm not used to. I don't feel any pressure at all. I want to prove him right.
Very cool. So what do you do in your downtime, man? Like when you're not training, when you're not in there hitting the gym, getting ready for these 3-month training camps. Like what do you do in your downtime?
What the Vergil Ortiz doing? What you really doing? How you live?
Man, I was playing the piano right now. I told you, right? I was playing the piano. I got my guitar hanging right there. I'll play something real quick. I just ran for fun right now. I'm in my workout clothes right now. I just came back from running. I love running.
Wow.
How much you run a day?
I ran 3 today, but I usually run 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope.
I ran in the track today. I got kind of bored, so I stopped. I usually run routes.
I mean, I guess it's good to have a joy running. Like that's one thing a lot of people hate. So that's good for cardio.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, it kind of like clears up my mind. I'll play my PS4. I like going to Six Flags. I didn't like it at first. I used to be scared of roller coasters, man. Like you don't even know, but I got over it.
So what do you play on PS4?
Recently I've been playing a lot of Fortnite. I got the new Mortal Kombat game. It's pretty dope. I like Injustice, Call of Duty, all that stuff.
Okay. All the new stuff.
Are people in Dallas stopping you now?
Man, it's yeah. Yep.
You like that side of it though? I mean, obviously like the name gets.
Definitely, yeah. You know what? I like making people's day. Seeing their smiles, taking pictures, giving them some kind of hope, motivations that even though we're out here, we can still do something.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope. Yeah, it's good to have, a guy like yourself, man, in this area, representing this area, man, because there was a time there where it was like a little bit, like a few years ago, it was like there's not really much going on in combat sports world in DFW. Now all of a sudden it's like completely flipped. So, man, I'm glad to see you, kind of bringing that profile representing. Up.
Yeah, exactly. And I hope if I ever make it big, I can be like a little door for these kids up and coming, because Dallas really didn't have that connection, I hope that I can be the connection. I can lead the way for these, young people growing up from next generation. And we'll definitely see Dallas, a lot more Dallas in these next 20 years. I promise you.
That leads me to my next question. Well, as you climb up this ladder, can we climb up this ladder with you? Can we make this a common fight thing?
Heck yeah.
Here's our motto on the Slip and Dip podcast. You ball, you get the call. So after you get that ball in that ring, we're going to get you within a week or two talking about your latest victim, just like you just got done talking.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm down.
That's dope, man. Yeah, man. I'm excited to see what's next for you, man. And for the people out there that are listening to this, if you have not watched this man fight, go find these highlights on YouTube, man. Like, it's incredible. This dude has crazy power. Yeah, he's got some hands, man. That latest knockout was vicious. Like,
and not a fluke.
Yeah, you made old boy dip under your second punch, and it wasn't because he had good defense, it's because he was out. So,
yeah. Man, you know what? I feel like the first punch that I hurt him, I feel like I could have knocked him out right there, but if you pay attention in the slow-mo, when I hit him, my hand wasn't even extended out all the way. If I would have got him at the end of my punch, I think that would have just been a one-punch knockout in that second round.
Yeah, it was impressive stuff, man.
And I think I'm impressed with you, besides that you're a humble guy, you represent the D. It's like you like looking for ways to get better. It's like, I'm undefeated, but I ain't where I want to be at. You like strong. Like if I didn't know no better, I think you hadn't knocked out nobody. You just got a one by decision, and you didn't put on a big performance or nothing.
Yeah, no, there's always ways to improve. I watched that fight like 10 times. I saw a lot of things that I could have done better. But you know what? That's why I'm here. I have 13 fights, and by the time I'm 25 fights, I'm gonna be Canelo status.
That's the way to close this interview. The future light welterweight champ. I'm gonna go call it. I don't know which belts. It's got like 4 alphabet belts out there, but we know it's gonna be a future 140 champion. You heard it here first on the Slip and Dip podcast, Mr. Vergil Ortiz. Man, thanks for joining us, man. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Please welcome to the Slip and Dip podcast one of the up and coming UFC featherweights. They call him the mean one, Mr. Hakeem Dawodu. How's it feel to be getting ready to get back in the octagon soon? Are you feeling healthy, man? Because we haven't seen you since December.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling healthy. You know what I mean? I just needed some time just to be 100%. You know what I mean? My last 4 fights, I've been fighting with injuries. You know what I mean? So I just needed just 3 months just to get some PRP treatment on my shoulder and be 100%. You know what I mean? I feel like at this level, especially now that I'm breaking into some of the higher level ranking, and especially I want to break to the top 10 this year. I want to be at 100% and really showcase my full skill.
How does it feel, the fact that you only got 1 loss on your record despite not fighting at 100% and fight some tough guys and still find a way to get your hand raised?
I feel like I'm a real man, so I feel like I don't want to blame my injury on that loss. I took that loss like a man. I'm not going to blame my injury on that, but you know what I mean? I wasn't 100%. And now that I'm 100%, I'm going to be here to start putting everybody away and really making my mark in the featherweight division. So, to me, it was kind of an upset because I always pictured myself kind of being like Floyd Mayweather, being undefeated. But, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, man. What would you say is, like, I guess the biggest lesson you took from that loss and, kind of like overcoming, I guess that, obviously it wasn't a crushing disappointment, but like you just said, like you had that visions of being like that Floyd, that undefeated guy. So what did you learn in terms of like adjustments from your career going forward from that?
I looked at myself, you know what I mean? I always do that. I don't try to look at any other variables. I look at myself. I made some adjustments to my training camp. Second thing that I did that I realized it wasn't that bad. I always thought a loss would have been really bad, but it actually wasn't that bad. I bounced back and it wasn't bad at all. And third thing, I think it just gave me that drive to really be better. And, I didn't feel stale again. I was like, all right, I'm hungry again. So, it definitely gave me a benefit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it was really like that, you don't never take a loss. You win or you learn type thing.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And it didn't deter me. I always kind of wonder how I would have took a loss, but I took it like a boss, so.
It's one of the things, of course, you don't like losing, but it makes you a better fighter.
Exactly. What you make of it, you know what I mean? I've had a lot of fights. I had a lot of kickboxing fights undefeated, so it was different for me, but, that's just life, and I'm still here, and I'm on the come up still.
Absolutely, man. I remember hearing your name a while ago, like before you were, I think, like, you obviously you were still with World Series of Fighting, and
Yeah, yeah,
I think like early on, maybe it was like your second or third fight. One of the journalists out in Canada, Danny Austin, I don't know if you know him personally.
yeah, yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he used to big you up so much. Like when we'd be like at events, like, man, like you guys don't know him yet, but this guy out of Canada, like you pay attention, like go try to find highlights, whatever. Like he used to talk about you so much, man. Like I was like, man, I gotta find this dude. And then like bam, here you are, UFC, got 2 wins under your belt now, under that big stage, man. So it's good to see you make it. And I'm guess shout out to Danny for being right on a on a prospect prediction.
I didn't know he was repping me like that. So like, yeah, man, respect. Shout out, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, no doubt, no doubt. So, one of the cool things, I guess, is like, so you're like looking at your bio here, man. So like, your mother's from Nigeria, right?
Yeah.
And your dad's from Jamaica.
Uh-huh.
Man, we like got this wave going on, man, of like the African fighters, the Nigerian fighters, man. So it's like gonna hop on that wave, and
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's like this whole wave of Nigerian up and coming UFC fighters coming right now. So I'm definitely hopping on that wave, and I want to be the next to get that belt. So that's why I'm like, trying to hurry it up and start knocking out these top 10 dudes.
Is it true there's like 20 of you over there? Because like Kamaru, even Francis, he like don't lift no weights. They big. They know knock you out. Is it like just guys are just naturally strong and talented over there like that?
Yeah, Nigerians are known to be, just strong people, you know what I mean? So, like, yeah, there's definitely, we got something going on in West Africa. But, all Africans got their athletics. But right now, the wave right now seems to be the Nigerian wave,
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a big thing, man. Obviously, like, we talk about, like, representation and stuff like that quite a bit. But it's, like, it's pretty cool to see this movement, like this shift, like the UFC seems to go through that. Like there was a wave of like Brazilians for a while, and then it like kind of came back to the States, and now it's like, okay, here come the African movement.
In Canada was popping for a bit. We had GSP, and then we had a couple. What's his name? Mark Hominick, you know what I mean, and Rory, you know what I mean. So yeah, there's always like a little wave. Yeah, exactly. So we always have like waves, whatnot. Every country has a little thing going on.
Yeah, you get to claim that Canada wave too, man. So you got
exactly.
you got a lot of that covered.
I'm gonna bring that Canada wave back.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. Because
brothers in the UFC from Canada, anyways. You know what I mean. So I'm trying to represent.
Right. Exactly. How many are there even? Now that you said that.
I don't know, bro. I feel like
that's a good question.
Like I
think I'm the only one. You know what I mean?
The only other one I can think of was like Francis Carmon. That's been some years.
Exactly.
Dang.
My buddy's saying something.
How big do you want to get 2 fights in this year, since half the year's almost gone?
I want to be as busy as possible. Like I said, I was just waiting till I was 100%. And after every fight, as long as I'm healthy, I'm ready to take a fight. Every 3 months. I just needed to be healthy. I was going through a lot of injuries people don't even know about. Because I don't like to preach like that. Yeah, I just do my work. But now that I'm 100%, I'm telling you, I'm back, and people are going to see a big change.
How does it make you feel as a fighter? The fact that people like, we're going to see Hakeem back in. We're going to see Hakeem back in. People are clamoring to see you back in the cage. Does that make you that your stock is pretty high, even though you've been inactive a little bit lately?
Definitely, I'm excited that the fans, feel my style. They know that I'm a real contender, and they know, they like my fighting style, and they know I'm here to perform. So definitely, it makes me hype, and I'm telling all my fans, like, look, I'm ready to come back. I just had to take care of myself. I couldn't keep taking these fights injured.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing that we always hear a lot of fighters talk about. Nobody ever goes in 100%. Nobody ever goes, like, there's always injuries and things like that.
You know what I mean? But, like, for my first, when I first got into the UFC, I didn't want to be my first fight be like, look, can you guys hold up? You know what I mean? Like, you don't really want to say that your first UFC fight. So, you just do what you do. But, I got my 2 wins in, and I was like, look, give me 3 months. Let me get healthy.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I mean, I guess it's got to be kind of tough, though, right? Because, like, like you're seriously injured, right? Where it's like, but you have this opportunity, and I've heard so many stories about guys like that. That's like, when the UFC calls, you got to take it no matter what.
Exactly. You take that, man. You don't want to be like, you know what I mean? You know, especially because I was hounding to get in for a bit. So I didn't want to be that guy hounding, and all of a sudden, like, you know what I mean? Oh, hold up. You know what I mean? That sounds whack. So I didn't want to really do that.
Yeah, for sure. So I heard you, they have a card in Canada coming up soon. So is that the one you're trying to get on? In
Exactly.
July, I think it was, in July?
Yeah, they got a card coming up in July. You know what I mean? So that's the one I'm trying to get on right now. So I'm healthy, man. I'm training, and I can't really give too many details right now. But when I do get the details, we'll make a big announcement. But yeah, UFC Canada's coming, and I'm going to be most likely on that.
Hey, can you come on here and make that announcement? We got stage for you.
Exactly. Once I get the news, I'll let you know, my brother. Once I get the okay to give all the details, I'll make sure I'll drop you.
Appreciate that.
That'd be dope, man. That'd be dope. So how much of actual other fights do you watch? Are you one of those guys that watches everything every weekend, or how do you partake in your MMA viewing?
I watch the stuff that's important to me, but you know, I train 6 days a week. I've been fighting for 10 years, and also I've had about like 68 fights now. You know what I mean? So I need some time to recover, just mentally and physically. You know what I mean? I can't have, you know, fights on my mind 24/7. That's just like, you know, you need some time to just be yourself. You know what I mean? I do this all day, and then when I'm not fighting, I'm coaching, right? So, you know, I try to just give the weekends to myself. You know what I mean?
For sure. Who would you say is the biggest influence, like in terms of like wanting you to fight, and I guess in your fighting career?
The biggest influence who first got me like wanting to be a fighter have to be Mike Tyson.
I like it.
And then after Mike Tyson, I would say Muhammad Ali. And then after Muhammad Ali, I'd say Sugar Ray Robinson. You know what I mean? You know, I just like, you know, them being brothers coming out of poverty, and just, you know, not only being fighters, but using their fight fame to, you know, better the people. You know, I thought that was some real G shit. So, you know, I would say those are probably the most influential people. And I was actually a huge James Toney fan. I loved me some James Toney.
Great guy. I just saw him last week at the Canelo fight.
Word, yeah. I think he's kind of underrated. James Toney was an ill fighter.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, Floyd Mayweather and even Roy Jones Jr.
Saw him last week too. They had the boxing convention, so they had a lot of the old timers. I know you feel because one of my guys is Riddick Bowe. I think he's a very underrated heavyweight.
Oh, you can't. And Penel Whitaker.
Sweet Pea.
You know, just a lot of guys, man. I you know, all the old boxing greats. That was kind of like the dudes I used to always, you know, look up to and emulate in my sparring, and just the charisma that they had back then is just, you couldn't top that.
So how much do you watch as carry boxers? Like, do you watch the Canelos and the Errol Spences of the world and all that, or you just focus strictly on MMA?
No. I just watched Canelo's last fight. I thought he looked really slick. I think he's in his prime right now. He was slipping, man. God damn, that got me hot. The next week, I couldn't stop moving my head.
What do you think about the guy on the co-main, the up-and-coming Latino, Vergil Ortiz?
I think he's, you know, I haven't really been on him too much, but, you know, that card gave him some exposure, and I think he's all right, but I haven't really done my homework on him, so I really want to check him. But I was more looking forward to that Canelo fight. I was really, you know, interested to see how I was playing out, and then he just, you know, once he turned on, you know what I mean, he started really impressing me a bit.
Yeah, I was telling my coach, so I was like 5 rows back ringside because I cover both. We do UFC inboxing over here. We versatile, but I think that puts Jacobs as a B-level fighter. As good as he is, he did the same damn thing against Triple G. It's like, well, we're gonna see a step up, or are you that guy? I hate to say it, I think he's that guy.
Yeah, you know, but you know, props to him. He didn't quit. You know,
he did not quit.
Exactly. So I give him nothing but respect, you know.
And then this week I'm going to New York for Wilder in Brazil. I think Deontay gonna put that man in a body bag. That's gonna be a brutal finish. It's gonna be a fatality, Mortal Kombat style.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. So what's it like? I'm like, I see you out there like in the park. You know, you said, I think you should say you got done training a little bit. So like, what's it like for you in your downtime?
Like, honestly, I just did 6 days straight training. So, you know, after training today, I'm just going to relax. You know, you see me at the river right now, just with some friends, you know, just, you know, relaxing my mind. Tomorrow, I'm going to probably take as a rest day, and I'll probably go to the sauna, hit the steam room, stretch, get a massage, you know, drink lots of water, and get ready for, you know, training on Tuesday. You know what I mean? And that's like a regular downtime day for me. You know what I mean? Just like, I like a rest day and then a kind of an active rest day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Have you spent some time at the UFC PI yet?
I haven't been down there. I'm probably going to go after this fight. I just, like I said, you know, I was getting my PRP therapy done here. So, you know, I was kind of focusing on that. And then as soon as that's done, basically my training camp kind of started. You know what I mean? So after this next fight, I'll go down there, make a camp. But, you know, I know what I got to do for this next fight. I've done it, you know, lots before. And I just want to get that big knockout and, you know, really put my name on the map and start making a run at the top 10.
Absolutely.
So as y'all youngsters like to say, you want all the smoke.
I want all the smoke. Yeah, definitely. You know what I mean? I'm maybe not one of those dudes that talk the most smack, but I'm really about it, and I'm a serious contender. You know what I mean? I'm traditional, but I do work.
Most definitely. That's why we got you on this show. We like your style. Tell me this: with you being 27, do you still consider yourself a youngster in this game, or just hitting your prime?
No, I feel like I'm just hitting my prime, especially for MMA. I feel like, you know, I was a professional world champion Muay Thai kickboxer. You know, I converted over the MMA, and now I feel like I'm just hitting my prime. I feel like, you know, I'm more unstoppable than ever, and I'm gonna be making waves this year and next year, and people are gonna really start having to respect me.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I gotta get your opinion on something from the fallout of last night. Did you see the main event last night between Andrade and Namajunas?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I've seen this wave of people online talking about how we need to ban these slams because Rose held onto the armbar, she fell on her neck, you know, and it was like it looked really nasty. What's your opinion on that? Because to me, it's like there's so many aspects about fighting that are inherently dangerous. So it's like we can't we can't go in there and start banning everything, in my opinion. So what do you think about that?
It's mixed martial arts. You're gonna ban slams and wrestling? No, it is what it is. She got caught. It happens in the sport, man. Like, it's a tough sport we're in, man. Like, I don't know what people really want to say about it, but you know, she got caught with a slam. It happens, man.
Yeah, it's combat sports.
Exactly. Like, I don't, you know, I'm nothing against nobody. It's just we're in mixed martial arts. This is some tough shit. Like, you know.
Exactly.
Really, I don't really got too much to say about that. I thought it was just a fight. You know, I haven't even been on the internet really that much because I've been trying to relax and I've been training. I haven't even seen that way, but people really tripping like that. That's crazy.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. I'm just glad we vibing. I'm like actually typing to a real fighter, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Like, you know, you got to do things to make sure you didn't get slammed. It's funny. I just went over how she slammed her too. I was going over and training. I was like, I saw that transition. It made sense. So. Yeah, you know, that was thought out, you know what I mean? And hey, that's part of the fight game, man. You take losses you don't want to take.
Right. Tell me this, you have a very high IQ when you're in the octagon. How much does that going to play in your advantage in the big picture? Because I'm one of these people, by me watching boxing and MMA, I don't understand when people, like, they have a terrible first round and they don't make no adjustments, but they think they'll get a different result. That's the dumbest thing. And on top of that, I know you, but you know, knowing the sweet science, how come people do not cut off the octagon more often and make the fight way easier for them? Now, even people at the high level, like these champions, they very rarely do you see a fighter like, I'm talking about the people I've seen do it the best is a Mighty Mouse, a Cyborg when she's actually not brawling. But other than them two, I don't see people consistently cut off the octagon. They do the whole chasing. It looks very amateurish. Why do people do that? Even like people in the top 5 do that. Like, it's like nobody knows how to cut off a damn octagon in UFC. It's like that would make your fight so much easier. It's so easy to do that it makes sense not to do it.
I think, maybe just a lot of variables. You know what I mean? People don't realize in MMA, you got punches, you got kicks, you got knees, you got takedowns. The other thing people don't realize, it's actually harder to corner somebody in that octagon. I remember my first UFC fight. You're like, damn, this is big. Like it's quite big, and it's kind of circular. It's hard to corner somebody, but at the same time, you got to make sure you're drilling that in your camp. You know what I mean? I remember I had this one fight. I had this one fight with this guy. We had a draw, all because I was letting him come out to my right. I rematched the dude. The whole camp, I just focused on cutting off my right, and I TKO'd him in the second round. So it's definitely something you got to incorporate in your camp. I can see how people can miss that, but it's definitely something you and your coaches got to address and work on. That's part of the game. It's these guys in MMA, sometimes they like to run, especially when they feel something. So cutting off the octagon is definitely something I'll be working on.
Oh. So how many fights away do you think you realistically, how many fights away do you think you are from putting yourself into that top 5 and getting into that title picture?
2 big wins, and they'll be talking about me. Trust me, 2 big wins, they'll be talking about me. No problem.
And you think you're ready for like those top contenders, like that number 1 contender, the champ? You think you go in there? Let's say you get those 2 wins this year. You think you'll be ready for that competition? Early 2020.
I'm physically and mentally ready for anyone. Like I said, I feel like I'm just reaching my prime and my peak right now. And whoever they want to throw at me, I'm ready for them. I'm not intimidated by anybody. Like you said, I'm 27 years old. I'm a man now. Let them come. Line them up.
Beautiful, man.
I like the swag, man. My man got all the confidence.
Yeah, I love it, man. And I can't wait to see you get back in the octagon again. Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on the show, brother. We appreciate the time.
Especially behind the scenes, man. You've been hard to catch. I'm glad we finally hooked up, man.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we hooked up. But definitely, for all future inquiries, make sure you hit up my management, Paradigm, man. My boy Tim, he's a lot better than getting a hold of me than some of these other cats. So,
I thought you would get off air for all that.
Pardon me?
I thought you would get off air. I'll get all his information.
Okay, yeah, get it, man. All right, bro.
Please welcome to the Slip and Dip podcast, one of the hottest names in the boxing world today, Mr. Teofimo Lopez Jr., future lightweight champion of the world. If you hadn't seen this man fight, you are missing a future talented champion. This guy puts on the show.
You're not watching boxing.
You ain't watching. Talk about just the entertainment side, man. Like, it's even more than boxing. When we see you in the ring, it's more than boxing. It's like, what he gonna do next? What dance he gonna do? My guy even got you with your behind the back punch. He got you. Yep. It's a little everything. Talk about just being an entertainer / boxer.
No, the whole thing is basically trying to get the public's eye in general on everything, man. Not just in sport of boxing, but everybody in the sport industry and just in worldwide. That's my whole goal, my main thing. So giving people glimpses and pieces of things that like make them be like, I ain't never seen this before. It makes them want to see more of Teofimo next time around. So that's the whole thing. We just little by little leaving crumbs so they could come and keep coming. And that way when it's time and when it's all said and done, then they get the whole bread.
How's it make you feel, the fact that you say you the opposite? A lot of people are running away from the boogeyman in your division as Lomachenko. It's like you like trying to knock on the boogeyman's door, like, let me up in this damn thing.
Yeah, man. Everybody has their opinions on it. So, I feel like, it's crazy as it is. It's like, look what happened with the whole situation with the WBC and Luke Campbell now. So they gave him the right. So the whole thing right now is Bob's ideal is to have me and Richard Comey fight. And then hopefully meet down the line next year. He's trying to push it. Like I said, it's going to be rough, but he's going to have 2 nutritionists this time around to make sure that I don't have problems with weight. And I told him, listen, Bob, because we already talked in the meeting and everything. We talked last week. I flew in just for the day, came back out. I flew to Vegas, came back to New York. And we talked about things. And one of the main things was about my weight. And I told him, listen, we could make a fight where we could fight for all 4 belts. Make it undisputed. Whoever wins is going to be undisputed champion at 135, whether it's me or Lomachenko, knowing it's going to be me. The whole situation, though, is... The whole thing is my weight. I'm a big guy at 35. I'm 22, and at this point in time, I'm still growing. You know what I mean? Lomachenko's a small guy. He's 30 years old or something like that. So he's already at his full growth. You know, so me, on the other hand, I'm still growing. So that's why I've tried my hardest to push these fights. And now the thing is that these guys, they offered Richard Coleman a lot of money to fight me, called it off. So these are things that people don't know, and it's very difficult at this time. But July 19th, I fight this guy from Japan. He's 18-0, 12 knockouts, in Maryland, D.C. And it's going to be for the title eliminator for the IBF. So whoever Richard Comey fights, if he wins, I'm his mandatory next.
So basically, he going to have to see you before the end of 2019.
He is going to see me by the end of 2019. He has to. If not, he has to give out the belt, and I'm fighting for it. So that's really it. Yeah, so, I mean, they're pushing it and everything like that. And the whole thing is like, I'm gladly accepting all of this. It's just, I told Bob, don't get your hopes too high if I can't make the weight no more. Even with the nutritionist, everything. But let's see how it works. This time around, we're going to see how camp is, and we're going to try it out.
So more than likely, we're going to see you up at light welterweight sooner or later.
No, yeah, like I said to everybody that this was my last year. You know, Bob's trying to push it to March with me and Loma for all 4 belts, and that's next year. I'm a big guy, man. I'm still growing, but if we can make it happen, then yeah. That's my whole thing. The whole thing is really just that. Like, I would definitely. That's easy, man. He's doing my work for me. He's doing all the work for me. He's going to fight all these guys, get all 3 belts. I get 1, and I take all those afterwards. He's doing all the work for me, so I don't mind it. And just with let's say, with probably 14, 15 fights, become undisputed champion at 22.
Besides your talent and your showmanship, one thing I think that makes you special is you're focused on being a legend, not just being a great fighter. Where's that come from? I know your pops kind of has that instilled in you. Like, did he tell you, like, when you're like 5 years old, you will be a legend? You just don't know that yet.
No. You ever had, like, you just those old boxing heads, and they just know from, like, I'm talking about, like, old men, you know, like grandpa type, and they've been in the game for so long, you know, like they've seen Sugar Ray in his time, in his prime. They've seen Thomas Hagler and stuff like that. So, and just so many guys like that. So they'll just look at me and be like, "You're gonna be something special in this sport." And, you know, I never believed it. And then look what happens now, you know, coming into this. A lot of things are changing. And it's just really, a lot of people call it cocky, but I'm just confident in what I do, man. I truly believe in what I'm capable of doing. And I feel like I haven't given anybody, you guys haven't seen anything yet. That's my whole thing. Nobody has seen anything yet. And I'm waiting for, I'm waiting for that one fighter. I'm just waiting for a fighter to bring out the best of me, you know, and none of these guys have yet. I've tried to lure them in and stuff to do something, and they just, the moment they do and I pop them and stuff like that, the whole game changes.
Do you have anybody that you want to see before your career's over with, regardless if you're in that weight class or not? Like, I want to test my skills against this guy before I'm done fighting.
To be honest, I don't really have anybody in particular. It's just as long as we make great fights in the long run. You know what I mean? It could be anybody at this point. Let's say when I get to my prime, in the pinnacle of the sport where I'm at the top and everything. You never know when a young guy is going to come up and then he could make a big fight with me. You know, things like that. The same what happened with Canelo and Floyd and vice versa, and with other things like that. So my whole thing is just trying to make exciting and big fights like they used to do back then. You know, if one major one is Lomachenko and me. So, of course, I'm down to make that fight happen, for sure. I'm like the only guy that's calling this dude out. And have you seen any? He has not said one thing about it.
I think he's kind of dismissive of you. Like, yeah, why is this guy saying my name? And I don't really know who he is. He's doing all that kind of like, I'm not acknowledging it, but I'm not acknowledging it. That's what I've seen in the interviews I've seen. He's kind of like, who's this guy think he is? I don't really know who he is. And we all know that's a lie.
Yeah, so, you know, I mean, I'm just, from this point on, though, in the way I see things and how I play it out, I'm bigger than that. So, you know, I've realized that the whole thing is like the way he was saying it, that I was using his name for clout. Motherfucker, I am clout. So I'm not using you for clout. No, I am clout. It's the other way around, and things like that, man. But it is what it is, man. I am at this point in time, man. I'm doing what I'm doing, and a lot of people are still excited to see what I'm gonna do next.
So I see it's like you've got to like your mentality. It seems like you're wanting to go out there and grab like that A-side spotlight like quick. Like with all the things you do in there, it seems like you like I want people to come to me sort of thing, rather than like I don't want to be the guy always constantly calling people out. It seems like you want to be slide into that A-side. Am I right on that?
Half right, but to be honest, it's not even. I wouldn't even say it could be that though. It could be honestly the fact that we're not in a rush when it comes to this, but I know my skill level and everything on set, on tone, on that, it's gonna make us in that point. So you got to be ready for all of it. We're not trying to. Actually, yeah, we want to be the A side, but you have to work little by little to get to that part. Of course, I'm gonna be the B side when I fight. If we ever fight, me and Lomachenko, I'm gonna be the B side, and he'll be the A side. The moment you beat that person, that's when you start becoming the A side and you start changing the game. Like what happened with Floyd and Oscar De La Hoya. Floyd was the B side, Oscar was the A side. He called everything, the gloves, all these things, and Floyd had to go by him. And what happened? Floyd beat him, and that's what made Floyd Money Mayweather.
But I mean, you definitely bringing that A-side personality to it, though. I mean, regardless. So I mean, I think where does that actually come from? Was this somebody like you kind of modeled that after, or was it like I'm just gonna bring like who I am into the ring every time?
Yeah, that's just who I am, man. That's what I'm going to be, and that's what I'm gonna bring every time, man. I'm not gonna fake it till I make it. A lot of these fighters are doing it. A lot of these guys are very good at the social media things and stuff like that. Some of them know how to do it very well, and it's working for them, and things like that. And they're just faking it till they make it. The whole thing with me is just this is who I am. I'm not gonna change it for anybody. And the fact that how I carry myself and everything. That's why a lot of these fighters, actually majority of these fighters are not calling me out because they notice it. They see it. Some of these guys that they put me in, they accept the fight is because they're telling them, hey, listen, you beat Teofimo, we're going to get you the world title. So they're like, oh, okay, yeah. And it's just to have somebody, because the matchmakers have been having a hard time trying to find fighters for me. Because of the fact that the only thing that sucks is this, man. I'm trying to make great fights happen, right? And everybody in the boxing world wants to see big fights happen, like Terrence Crawford, Earl Spence, and so much more fighters out there, right? That you could build. Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, the list goes on and on. And the thing that sucks is that at this point is that since I don't have a strap, they're using that as leverage to not make a fight,
How big a deal is to turn them tables? Like Errol Spence, if you follow him on social media, he's always tables turn. Because like 2 years ago, he was in your spot. Like the Keith Thurmans and the Sean Porters, where your belt? He got a belt. Now they all clearing to fight him.
Nah, yeah. So and he's like, if anything, the best fighter at welterweight, in his division. So. Errol Spence is doing his thing, and look how the tables turn. Yeah, it's just everything's with patience, man. I always look at it like this. I'm not in no rush. All it is God's timing. God is putting this in my path and everything, and I'm just taking it. I have faith in all this, and like I said, like I told Bob and everything, like I'm not gonna hurt myself to make you millions. I ain't gonna hurt myself to make you millions. I'm gonna know and do what I gotta do best for my body.
Yeah, that's good. Like, I guess that you're talking about obviously like with the weight and everything too, right?
No, it's exactly the weight.
Yeah. Okay.
Nothing else. It's exactly the weight.
Okay, because that's refreshing, man.
To be honest, like for this last fight, I was gonna call it off. I was at 136, and we only had probably 30 minutes left, and I was a pound over, and I was already like, what the hell, man? Like I'm not dropping weight no more, and My wife was like, come on. She saw I was frustrated. Everybody saw it. I hit my hands and I started walking out, and I was like, and I screamed, and I was just mad. The fact that it's frustrating, trying to maintain this weight, make this weight and everything and so on and so forth. So the whole situation was that part, and I'm not going to hurt myself. The next day, I was having a cramp in my leg during the fight, and I had a fight with it. So that's the things. And these are things that I shouldn't say, but these are things that have to be prevented in order for us to make this type of mega fight happen.
So, how much were you cutting? Like, How much weight are you cutting to make that weight?
I'm only cutting about I'm always at the 10, 12 pound range. You know.
Okay.
The whole thing is those last 3, 4. Now it used to be 2 pounds. Now it's becoming 4 pounds. So those are the things that are starting to build up more and more. Because my body, if you look, this is what I always put it as an example of. If you look when I fought William Silva back in July of last year, and you look at me and Magdaleno of this year in February, you see how same weight, but the frame and everything is bigger. I'm filling in. So it's like a balloon with a lot of air filling in, ready to pop.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing, and I'm not trying to, but like I said, the whole meeting was basically nutritioning, how we're gonna do this, and how we're gonna settle things, and we're just gonna try it. I'm gonna do it and see if it works, and if it works, hopefully it works throughout to next year.
Gotcha.
So we can make this type of magnitude fight happen.
Yeah, man, that's really refreshing because me and Kendrick, we cover MMA as well as boxing, and it's like the MMA guys, they cut 30
crazy,
pounds.
Bro. They'll be 25 a head.
In the week.
Yeah, in the week.
Yeah.
25 pounds in 1 week.
Yeah, so it's really refreshing.
Drink about 2 gallons.
Right. It's really refreshing to hear a guy be like, "No, I'm taking control of my career. Like, you're not gonna make me cut this weight anymore." So that's really refreshing here, man. I'm really excited.
It's because the fact that look, it's not only that we're athletes and everything, but you can't set out the tone and make it seem like I'm gonna make you this money and you just gonna have me here like this. No. I gotta take care not only of myself and my health, but to make sure that I take care of my family on top of that. So that's really it. But I know at the end of the day, I'm gonna be the best at this game. If it's not at 35, it's gonna be at 40, 47, 54, and probably the max 60. But I think 54 will be my highest.
That's cool. Well, you're a very historian of the sport. Like you take your Teofimo Lopez Jr. the talent out. You legitimately love the sport of boxing, correct?
I love it. That's the whole thing that keeps me going, though, is that even though with more money comes more problems, that's actually a known fact. It's not even something lyrical from what Biggie said. No, it's a known fact. And it's the truth. So despite all that, the thing that keeps me going and keeps me motivated and everything is the love that I have for the sport. If it wasn't for boxing, I wouldn't be in the situation that I'm in or be the man that I am today, with my mother and my father, and everything like that. So generally, it's not about doing it for the money. It's about my legacy and what am I going to do for the sport of boxing and what am I going to bring outside of the sport of boxing, because it's 2 different champions. You have a champion in the ring, and then you have the bigger one is people's champion. And that's my thing, man. That's my whole goal, is to set the tone differently from everybody. You don't see me with iced out jewelry and stuff like that. I'm just changing the game little by little, slowly but surely it's going to happen.
Speaking of, since you're a historian of the sport, how impressed are you with the resume that is Lomachenko? The fact that he's got the Rigondeaux, the Walters, the man, we haven't seen this man in 3 years. He literally quit the sport. When you see stuff like that, I know it doesn't intimidate you, but how much respect you have that as a pure boxing fan? Or just that's no big deal?
No, it doesn't. You're talking about a 122 pounder. You're talking about a 126 pounder going up to fight Lomachenko at 130 and so on and so forth during that time. So, listen, they know how to make a champion. Top Rank knows how to make champions and stuff like that. So, of course, he did what he had to do. The thing is that when you're in that ring, it's a whole different ballgame, right? You actually have to still go out there and show that you are the best. So, I'm not going to take anything away from him. But at this point in time, he hasn't fought nobody like Teofimo Lopez, and I think everybody could agree on that.
I love how you speak in third person, but it's cool though.
Yeah, no, man. This is just who I am, man. I'm not gonna, and it's getting to him. So, you know what that means.
Hey, I gotta.
I'm not chill, man.
I gotta ask you about the behind the back punches, man. Is that something you just kind of practice, when you're in their sparring sessions, you just kind of throw that out as kind of a little fun thing, and it's hey, I'm gonna actually pull this out in the fight, or how does that actually make it into the real fights?
So sparring. I got it from sparring. I was in Mayweather's gym and I was sparring some dude, and I think he was southpaw. So yeah, I went. This is way back, way back. It was like a year before I fought Magdaleno, and I pulled a shot. I pulled it. I slipped and I hit him behind the back. I hit him in the stomach, and he went like this. And I turned around and I started hitting him. It was a big guy, and it worked. And I was like, oh, I was like, oh, I'm gonna probably doing this one day. And when the Magdaleno happened, the fight, I was like, if you ever see me do some stuff like that, I'm just gonna let you know, just for future preferences and stuff like that. If you ever see me do some type of stuff like that, like it's crazy, it's because I already adapted to the fighter and I could do whatever I want.
Wow.
And
wow.
Yeah, so that's because I got to be 100% sure to pull it off. You know what I mean? There can't be no 99% chance. Nah, it's got to be 100%.
So basically, when we see that, you're saying the fight's already in the bag. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time when.
We kicked it a little bit after the Magdaleno fight when I saw your dad and them at the start and yourself. Because being in that, it's cool to see you up close and personal, but it seemed like from the replay, did he go tell you like before you got him out of there to finish him, kind of like Mortal Kombat style, like get him up out of here, stop playing?
Oh, my father?
Yeah.
Nah, yeah, he was like, my father was like, he's done, he's ready, like you just gotta. And I was like, I'm picking my shots. I really gotta, they ain't gonna stop the fight with a whole bunch of shots. It's Texas. Like they're not gonna stop no fights.
Fight to the death out here. He fight to the death out here,
Dallas. Really yeah, you fight to the death out there. So it's crazy, And I'm like picking my shots, and that's exactly what happened. So he told me he's done. My dad told me that from like the second round. I was just slowly but surely just making sure, wearing him down, tearing that body down, just so I could finish him last. And then Edis Tatley, I predicted that knockout. I told everybody in the media day, which was on a Tuesday, I believe, in New York during fight week. I think that was 4 days before the fight. I told everybody on media day, I see it not going past 6, and I see it with a body shot. And that's exactly what happened. Happened in the 5th round with a right hand to the body.
Now switching gears, we know you're a great boxer. Give some insight to Teofimo Lopez outside the ring, because like I saw you on the nice vacation with your wife. It's like how much does family play a role in your success with your dad being in your corner? Is it a Team Lopez operation?
Yeah, as always, man. Team Lopez all day, man. So that's the whole thing. My father, he's always there, supported me and everything. Like he's always, if anything, he's brought this confidence out of me. My father has brought this out of me. I never believed in what my father has seen, how you guys see it. I used to be the same, like, damn, Dad, you really see me like this? Like, I used to look at him like, and it's true, and it got to the point as I got older and everything like that, then it started really clicking in, and I started realizing, oh, snap, and it didn't happen until I was like 17, 18. So it didn't happen till late, man. I'm talking about from 6 years old all the way to 18. That's a big gap. And now I start having that confidence and I'm believing in myself. And then 19, throughout the pro game, I've been killing it, and we're only just going to get better. We're not going to get worse, and the crazy part is that I always told everybody, you got to get me now, because when I'm in my prime, they're going to be far long gone, all these fighters. So they have a better chance fighting me now than they do in a couple more years. It's like, and I'm letting them know.
I know every time I talk to you, you like, I didn't send a message right quick. You send the messages every time I talk to you.
Oh, wait, what happened?
I said, you always be sending messages when I talk to you, to your future opponents.
Yeah. So it's just really it, man. But there's a lot of champions that we are able to hopefully make a matchup with, and the whole thing is that if you look at it, Teofimo could bring pay-per-view onto that part, on ESPN and stuff like that, but we just got to have because people want to see Teofimo fight, people want to see me fight, and that's what we bring. We bring that thrill and that anticipation of what he's going to do next, like you guys said. And that's what everybody wants to look into. Like, I'm fighting this Japan dude, I think he's like 6 foot tall. And he's 18-0, 12 knockouts. I know a lot of people want to see, what he's going to do with this guy. How is he going to do this and this and that. I might jump punch just to, catch up with him. just to mess with him, I love, the thing with me, I have fun with what I do, man. I love it.
If somebody tell you that your dad is Ruben Guerrero and Angel Garcia mixed into one, what's your take on that? Is that an accurate assessment?
My father's my father, man. I mean, everybody has their way of looking at it. If y'all want to say Angel Garcia, y'all want to say that, then go ahead. But the man's not crazy, man. The man is not crazy. Everything, I'm telling y'all though, the man is not crazy. Everything that he has said and has been, he predicted has happened, and that ain't just being crazy, man. That's a talent right there. That alone is a talent because he's predicting these things and it's happening. So. My father, the only thing they think he's crazy is because he only sees me as the best. So a lot of people are like, what? What about Errol Spence? What about Terrence Crawford? What about Anthony Joshua? What about Wilder? What about Canelo? And so on and so forth. My father just sees how I do things differently, and that's just how he is, man. He's very outspoken. So, but you need that, man. You need that. You need that in the sport of boxing.
For sure.
You need it, man. I mean, I feel like boxing has lately kind of calmed down. Now it's starting to come back up. Look what happened with just yesterday with Hurd and Williams.
And New.
Yeah.
And the New. Just like that, man. And just like that. You can't like he said though, you can't define a fight off of just one loss, And it's true, man. You can't slack on anybody. That's why I don't take any of these opponents light, man. They could have an upset anytime, and that's what boxing is about, man. Boxing is like unpredictable, man. Yeah, and you know what's crazy though? In his hometown.
Right. It's crazy, man. It's
unpredictable. Lost it all. It's unpredictable. Sport of boxing is just like that, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Who was the biggest influence in your boxing career? Like when you were younger, and I guess to this day.
I looked at a lot of the African American fighters, man. They could fucking fight. So. It was a lot of Sugar Ray Leonard, Pernell Whitaker, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, Roy Jones, who else? James Toney, so on and so forth. Muhammad Ali. Like these are guys I really looked into hardcore, man. And I used to watch them all the time. After coming from the boxing gym, watch them, study them. Thanks to YouTube and everything, we could do that.
Yeah.
So I know back then, I used to even look at the Tuesday night fights. You remember those?
Back in the day,
of course.
Yeah.
They be smoking in the arena and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I used to watch that too, and I used to watch film and everything like that. I even had a full disc of the whole volume of it. It's crazy, and I was just so into it, man. Now it comes to a point where I don't even watch boxing no more like that, man. I love the sport of boxing. I respect it with all my heart, man. But I just don't watch it no more. I don't watch the fighters and stuff. I do me, man. And I just try to get myself out of it, man. Because sometimes this stuff could get to you, man. So you got to learn how to separate it.
Yeah. I mean, I see it seems like you get a little frustrated sometimes, just going by your Twitter. It's like, you don't believe me. Like you tweeted out, I never believe a word from boxing unless it's signed and sealed. So it's like the politics side of things, it can get frustrating, right?
Yeah, no, because it happens, man. This ain't the first time I've seen these things happen, and the fact that the only thing I get upset is kind of I went out my way this time around, when usually it's the other way. So that's the only thing I was upset about. It's I went out my way a little bit, and I was like, yeah, it's all good. It's all good but you know what? It's boxing, it's the business, and that's how it is. When it's all said and done, they can do whatever they want, man. If it makes money, it makes sense. That's what it's all about in this sport of the industry. I think in any sport, in any industry, just in general, if it makes money, it makes sense.
I feel that.
So you can't even get mad about it. So you just gotta move on from it and just keep doing what you're doing.
So with that being said, are you about the biggest fight as far as the money wise? Or are you about getting these belts and add them to the legacy, or you think they're gonna line up sooner or later on a consistent basis?
Belts are always going to be there. Everything's going to, with hard work and dedication and all those things, you will come to soon have those belts. And the whole thing is having them is one thing, but keeping them is another. That's one thing that I learned from Floyd Mayweather. A big example, prime example was him. I used to look at him and everything for those things is the fact that what made him so special was that he kept that O. What made him so special, he was so disciplined, and he knew that one loss was going to define his whole legacy. It was just going to go trash, just that, boom. Well, to him, he always had that. So he always had a chip on his shoulder. And that's something that you always need, to remind you. When it's all said and done, I got to take care of my family. Yes. But the main thing is also the legacy, man. I got to leave something in the sport. I got to leave my footprint in this world to know that, when I die, it's not, I'm gonna be forgotten. Muhammad Ali, he passed away. May God bless his soul. And look, he's the greatest of all time, still to this day, no matter what.
Absolutely. And before we let you go enjoy the rest of your evening, man, what is one thing that you want people to know about you that they may not, pick up from just watching you fight? I'm an entertainer, man. If you haven't seen it yet, you gotta just watch, man. Every time Teofimo Lopez fights, man, I'm an entertainer and I love what I do. I actually have fun doing this. It's not a job for me. The thing that's a job, and to let everybody know, is interviews and so on and so forth, photo shoots and stuff. That's a job. But in that ring and fighting, that's not a job. And I think that all the fighters and everybody in the public needs to know that. What I bring to the table is I'm having fun and I love what I do. So, and I just want to bring that excitement back and make explosive fights happen. Those big major fights happen. And hopefully we could do it, man. Once we get to that A-side point and we want those type of fights where we make these big fights happen, that's what we're gonna do, man. So Teofimo, just keep watching it, man. And hey, I fight for you guys.
Man, greatly appreciate you coming on the show, man. It's been like a 3-week journey to get this happen, but you made it worthwhile, man.
It has?
Great. Yeah, with your pops, and then you going out of town. I tried to catch you out there in Vegas because you came in on Saturday, and I had to fly out. It was like just zoo. So we finally got it lined up, man. Greatly appreciate it, brother.
I'm sorry for the wait. I didn't know about it. Hey, but if you guys ever want to do any more upcoming interviews in the near future, just talk to Evan from Top Rank, Evan Korn. Gotcha, yeah, man. He's my PR. He's always the guy that sets all these things up. So, he hasn't reached out to me in a while. So probably nobody has wanted to do interviews. So, or he's probably letting me be. So, but at this moment, yeah. So yeah, but my apologies. I did not know this.
Oh, it's all good. No worries. No worries, man. Just glad to get you on, brother. We appreciate it.